Okay, let's cross over now to the protests in Los Angeles and speak to journalist Lucy Sheriff. Lucy, thank you so much for joining us. So we have seen scenes of looting and some violence, and I'll get to that. But first, I just want to get your impression of how these protests started. They largely, at least from what we can see, start peacefully, and then pockets of things start to pivot to something else. What have you seen?
Yes, that's right. So it started as a very peaceful march, and then perhaps around 2 p.m., 3 p.m., the group splintered and half broke off. One half remained fairly peaceful, and then the other half started looting stores and setting fire to cop cars, police cars. And then they were sort of surrounded by police. And as far as I know, many of them were arrested. And then I have just been near Fairfax watching something that was a very peaceful protest, so much so that there was actually a 2-minute silence. Unfortunately, after that, the cops started firing rubber bullets and tear gas to try and disperse the protesters, even though it was a peaceful protest. And from then on, it unfortunately disintegrated into what you might be able to hear behind me, which is several shops have been looted. A huge fire was set on the intersection of Fairfax and I believe Rosewood Avenue, and a load more people have just been arrested.
So when you see the pictures like police cars on fire in the city of Los Angeles, that's obviously going to resonate very much with that community who's lived through many, many painful times going back to the '92 riots and before, and other situations in between. Explain to our viewers, talk about what the tortured relationship is between the Black and brown community in Los Angeles and the police department.
Yeah, so actually something I did see, which was pretty incredible, was a line of white protesters standing between the police and people of color, protesters of color, and they were linking arms to try and protect these protesters of color from the police. I have also seen people, really panicked, talking about the fact that they've heard that ICE is being called and is coming to the area. I saw a lot of people disperse after, I don't know if it was a rumor or if it is fact, but I saw a lot of people disperse and leave the protest after that came out. There've also been quite a few instances of white protesters throwing objects at police, and then protesters of color turning around and telling them, this is a peaceful protest. Please do not incite violence, because this is a peaceful protest. This is about justice, and this is about Black Lives Matter. And you are trying to turn this into something that is violent, which is not what we want.
And in fact, the Black protesters could certainly make the case that they know what it's like to be on the receiving end of an angry police officer who has bad intentions, and basically the plea being, don't make this any worse on us. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah. I spoke to a couple of Black protesters. One was a young male. He was 19 years old. He was here with his brother and his father, and he said to me, I'm scared because I'm Black, and I know that if I get arrested, it may be way worse for me than it would be if I were white.
All right, Lucy Sheriff, journalist there for us in Los Angeles. Lucy, thank you very much.
Thank you.